good, man. Really good.
That's a can-do Norm.
You came charging out like
Yeah, because people, look at this audience, man. They don't care about that. Why? They like jokes.
The Swedes are with you.
They got flags. They got flags.
Yeah, they got flags and they're scoring you. You've got 3 9s and an 8 so far.
Wow.
For your
Where
entrance.
are you guys from, man? Oh, sweet. That's Sweden?
Yeah.
God bless you, man. Everything's good about, you know, you're an Irishman. Me mother, she was orange. Me father, he was green. It was the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot. You're Irish.
Yes.
What are you?
Swedish-German.
Swedish-German. Are you really?
Yeah, really. Why would I lie about that? It's not funny.
It's very odd, 'cause
It's a very strange lie. I put one over on those people. Yeah.
Swedish-German.
No, I'll tell you why it's funny, man, because I was in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I met a good old boy down there, and he said, you know Andy Richter?
Yeah. Yeah. He did?
Yeah.
You met a guy in Georgia and he said, you know Andy Richter?
Oh, yeah, you guys do well there.
Oh.
And he said, I said, yeah. He said, have you ever heard of Andy Richter joke? I said, no. He said, well, most of it's based on him being Swedish-German. And then he told me an Andy Richter joke. And
Really?
But I didn't know he was Swedish-German. I thought it was all nonsense.
Yeah, well, now this lines up perfectly. Let me ask you something, because it sort of relates to the first...
Wait, don't you want to hear the joke?
No. Oh, you're down to 6. You're down to 6. All right, this joke will get you back
Yeah,
up.
you can get him back.
Let's hear the joke.
Well, the fellow says, man, he says, you ever heard the time about the old prospector? That's how he talks, you know?
Yeah.
He says, man, there was an old prospector, and he was prospecting for gold, and he was having a hell of a time getting any gold. You know? It was an empty stake, I believe. And he said he'd come into town one day. He'd been in the mine for a good 8 months. He said, by God, he said, I'm only flesh and blood. Sure. You know? And I need a woman, you know. And so he goes into town. He goes up to the bartender. He says, bartender, he says, man, I've been in that mine for a hell of a long time, and I'm only flesh and blood. I need a woman. Well, the bartender says, hell, there ain't no women in this town. If you want to do any of that business, all we got is Andy Richter, the Swedish-German. The prospector, he says, no, he says, hell, I ain't into that funny stuff, you know. He says, I'll be fine. So he goes back to his state, you know, and he's back in that mine, man, and 6 months passes, and a year passes, and Conan, you know, people are weak. Man is made of flesh and pride, as the scriptures tell us, and by God, that old prospector finally broke to his knees and he said, I'm no worse than... Then he went back to the bar. Yeah. He was a beaten man. He says to the bartender, he says, hell, man, I've been in that place 2.5 years. A man has needs, and if you say there's no women in this here town, he says, well, I'll have to go for Andy Richter, the Swedish-German. But he says, listen now, he says, man, I'm a tough old hombre, you know, and I got friends now. He says, I don't want anybody to know about this. You know, this is back in the old days.
Sure, yeah.
He says,
I can tell by the accent, yeah.
He says, I got my cowpoke friends and so forth. I'd hate to hell anybody know about this. You know, this got to be all secret. Nobody. I say, nobody can know about this. Bartender says, well, 4 people will know about it. How do you figure that? He says, well, he says, I'll know about it. He says, you'll know about it. Andy Richter, the Swedish-German, will know about it. And the fella that has to hold down Andy will know about it.
Why?
Why? Because Andy Richter, the Swedish-German, he don't go for that funny business neither.
Well, at least you left me my dignity.
Yeah.
I like the way that story ended.
Yeah,
that was a nice...
You weren't gay.
Right. Yeah. Well, but that's not beside the point.
You were raped.
No, it's more... It's more that I wasn't prostituting myself.